What's interesting, because your last few interviews, you're talking about the school that you've been building in Ghana.
Yeah.
But recently, I read that Ghana robbed you for $1 million.
Yeah, actually 1.2 million.
1.2 million.
Well, I mean, robbery, I was probably obsessed, so I probably made it a little bit more harsh than what it was. So when I built this school, you know, I've been going home for the past, since when I went back home for the first time. For the past 20 years, I've been going home. You know, I go home and one thing I noticed a lot of the kids in the, you know, in the cities or even in the villages, they're all hanging around during school hours. And I never understood that because, you know, from the time I came to America, the kids had to go to school because school's free. And I never understood why kids were like roaming around during school hours, and I found out why. Like, you know, they couldn't afford school, and there are some public schools which is called government schools. Mm-hmm. But even with those, you still have to buy uniform, you have to buy books, you have to buy this and that. You know, and those schools fills up pretty fast with like 40, 50 kids in the class, and no more can go in. If you don't get in time, then you ass out. So a lot of kids were out there with no education. And I never understood that. So I'm like, damn, man. I felt so bad. I'm like, you know, when I able to get some money, I'm gonna do something about it, you know. And then I eventually, you know, I got blessed enough. I mean, took like $500,000, built this beautiful campus, beautiful school, you know, with a house next to it in case I decided to go visit. I could just chill there. Built this nice thing in a village, you know. And I was like, let me get these kids a free education. You know, and a lot of times things sound like a great idea. To after a couple of years, I'm like, oh, this shit getting expensive. You know, because this is not like, you know,
it's not self-sufficient where it just makes money to support
there's no
itself.
money.
Yeah.
So meaning like, if I'm taking on
keep
responsibility,
pumping money into it,
I have to keep doing this every time, like out of my pocket. To the life of, I can't just have the kids in 1 year, I'm like, sorry guys, I can't afford this anymore. You know, y'all go figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, even Oprah had problems with her school in Africa.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. So I said to myself, how can I sustain this for its lifetime? You know, and at that time, one thing about Ghana and a lot of African countries, you know, a lot of people don't have money. So if you have money, you can make money, you know, whether it's through the banks and other things, you know, you make money through the bank, you know. And I know like in the States, like I have I'm not a big gambler, you know, I'm not big on stocks. I don't like shit going up and down. You know, that's how you could get rich. You also get broke that way.
I'm big on stocks, let me tell you.
Oh, so yeah, you doing well?
Most
stocks?
of my fortune is from stocks, yeah.
For real? Okay.
Yeah, easy.
You know, and like me, I always been scared. You know, even my financial advisors here, you know, I have about like 25% of my money in stocks, and it drives me crazy. Because they say, don't look at it. I look at my shit every day.
Yeah, me too.
I look at it every day. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, I don't trust those financial advisors. I don't. I mean,
I'll hang out with you afterwards. We'll have a long talk. I'll put you up on game, and I'll show you the books that I read and how you do it all yourself.
Got you. And I'll tell you, I'll be open with what I do.
Yeah.
But back to my school. So I said to myself, how can I sustain this for life? So at that time, you know, they had Euro bonds, right? So Euro bonds, pretty much, the money would stay in the currency that you put it in. Whether it's euro, dollars, pounds, whatever you put it in, it would be in that currency, right? And the Euro bonds was paying, if I'm not mistaken, at least 9% interest rate, which is unheard of. Mm-hmm. You know, because I have bonds here in the States, and they're like 4.5, 5%.
4.5%, yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, this is almost twice the amount. So I did my calculation on the school. I said, okay, this school's costing me about $9,000 to $10,000 a month, which is not bad at all to run a whole school.
Still a lot of money, though.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah, over $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, 9 to 10.
After taxes and all that stuff. Yeah, I get it.
I said, every month this school's cost me $9,000 to $10,000 a month. How much would I need to put in bonds so that way I'm having this money come in? And I said, okay, $1 million. In fact, I ended up doing 1.2 because when I wired the money, I thought I only wired 750,000, but I already had wired $1 million, and I remember doing another $250,000 more. Because what I did like because these bonds pays every 6 months, so I made like 5 different ones, so that way they pay different times. That way I always make sure money was there. So I'm like, okay, so I end up sending 1.2 instead of $1 million. And my financial advisors, when I was sending this money, they said, Mike, you sure you want to do this? When you're wiring money overseas, they always want to make, it's certain countries that they have a list of where terrorist countries, where they will not advise you to send money or they won't allow you to. Regardless if it's your money, there are certain countries on the list where you cannot send money to because it's on a terrorist. They will make sure you're not supporting terrorism. Mm-hmm. Ghana, on the other hand, is probably one of the most peaceful places you could be. Ghana has never had no civil war. Ghanaians are very peaceful. We are loving people. We are, what's the worst crime that happened to you in Ghana? Somebody snatched your phone? There's no crime in Ghana. Ghana is probably in the top 3 safest countries in the world. If you Google it, I'm very sure. I've never Googled that, but I'm sure if you Google Ghana, it's in the top 3 safest country on earth. Mm. Now, when you're doing bonds, bonds, of course, are government related. So I did my research, and there's never had issue with bonds. And even in the world, bonds don't go bad unless there's a civil war. Right. Something bad got to happen. And Ghana's never had no smoke, no issue. So I built the school. I said, okay, let me send this money. It's going to bring me, $10,000 a month. School be paid for. I invested $1.2 million in my country. And I'm like, okay, this is the land where I came from. This place made me who I am. What's wrong with giving them, well, if you add the school money, almost $2 million because I built the school. I said, what's wrong with me giving back to where I came from? Mm-hmm. It's only right.
Right.
If I was an African, I would not be who I am today.
Right. But the investment funds were actually seized by Ghana.
But it wasn't seized. So, it felt like it was seized for it. So this is what happened. So we put the money up. I probably it made one payment. The payment stopped. And, and this was right around COVID time. Right around COVID. Payment stopped. We don't know what's going on. And mind you, I also had some treasury bills, but the treasury bills were in Ghana money. Now, those are a little different. Anything in the Ghana currency was fine, was safe, because they could just print some fucking money, Yeah. The reason why I didn't choose to do that amount of money in the Ghana currency was because their money goes up and down.
Right. The euro is much more stable.
The euro is, the dollar.
Similar to the dollar.
Exactly.
Right.
They're stable. So, in fact, when I did the euro bonds, our dollar was 6 cedis. Cedis is the name of the Ghana's money. Mm-hmm. A dollar was 6 cedis. Right now, our dollar is 15 cedis. So even the treasury that I opened up that it matured 3 years later, I lost. Mm-hmm. So because of that, a lot of people were enticed by this euro bonds because your money stays in the dollar currency. They stopped making payments, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I spoke to the lady at the bank. She said, they're just having a little issue. The government, they're in debt. They borrowed money from China, COVID, bunch of excuses, which is excuses to me.
They used your money to pay back their Chinese debt.
Yeah, they used my money to pay China.
That's crazy.
Crazy, unheard of.
Yeah.
And that's just me. I have a bigger voice, but it's probably hundreds of thousands of other people that invested their money.
Yeah.
And then, so I said, okay, but then I was, I spoke to one guy that worked for that particular regime, and I apologize for blaming my problem on Ghana. Ghana is not the problem, it's usually it's people that are in office are the problem, So the particular Ministry of Finance from the NPP regime, we have Democrat here and Republican here in Ghana. They have the big ones are NPP and NDC. Mm-hmm. So at that particular time, NPP was in office. So they are the one to be blamed for it, not Ghana. Ghana is a great country with great people. I apologize to my Ghana for what I said, but I'm blaming it on the NPP and the Ministry of Finance and whoever, that regime. They decided to use our money to pay whatever debt it is, and then you know what it said to us? It said, you know, thank you for helping us save the country. Involuntarily, motherfucker. I didn't volunteer my money for this shit. So we didn't have nothing for, now it's going on 2 years, no payment. So now how am I gonna go find new money to pay for the school? You know, and now I'm funding out of my pocket. Now my money is on hold. And, you know, so I spoke to the bank lady. She said, Mike, they're going to figure this out. You know, just a little issue, but everything should be okay. I said, okay, cool.
2 years later.
2 years later, then I hit up one of my guys that worked for that regime. I said, yo, man, what's up with your government? You know? He's like, Mike, I'll get you your money back, but I'm going to need 10%. Right? And trust me, I wish I would have did that. Because a lot of times, those guys have the power to do that.
Because you still haven't gotten your money back.
No,
Still don't have it back.
I don't have it back. So I wish I would have did that. But I spoke to the lady at the bank, the bank manager. I said, listen, I got a guy that works, you know, he said he get my money back, but he wants 10%. He said, Mike, if you don't need this money right away, don't lose $100,000 or $120,000. You know, just wait. They're going to figure this out very soon. I said, okay. I took her word for it. I said, all right, man. I said, forget it, you know. Then I spoke to a bigger guy. This guy is like cousins to the president. He's like the right-hand man. This guy probably make decisions in Ghana. I'm definitely not mentioning his name, right? I was like, what the fuck is up with your government? What's up with this money? He said, Mike, everything's gonna be okay. We about to figure it all out. He said, if all else fail, at worst, whatever date each one puts to mature, you get your money back plus the interest. Which I didn't mind, because those are all like 3-4 year bond. If I know for a fact, and in fact, one of them was about to mature like this year, like, you know, and then other one's probably like a year later. I didn't mind waiting a year or two to get all my money back with interest. He said, when it matures, at worst, you'll get your money back with interest. When he told me that and I knew he ran shit, I felt comfortable. I said, okay, I'm good. 2 months prior to the election, they finally made a decision on the Eurobonds. They gave us 2 options. Either take one or they'll pick one for you, right? The first option is your 3-4 year bond is now 11-year bond.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And whatever amount of money you gave them, you're gonna lose 37% of it.
Should have gone for the 10%.
I should have gone for the 10%.
Yeah.
Right? You lose 37% of it. Now, if you give them $1 million, you lost almost $400,000. Now your 9% interest rate that you had is now 5%. Those are the option one. Mm-hmm. Option two, you don't lose none of your money you give them. You keep your whole amount of money. But now instead of your 3-4 year plan is now 15 years before you get your money back, right? Instead of you getting your 9% interest rate, it's 1.5%. So pick which one you want.
Yeah, basically robbing you.
Robbing you.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I went on Twitter and I lit them motherfuckers up. You know, and I became a hero because I had a voice. A lot of time people are afraid to speak. Mm-hmm. You know, and my thing, if I was just some businessman just trying to make money, and I took a L, you know, it wouldn't bother as much. But I mean, this money was to pay for a free school, and I'm doing the government's job. I'm building a free education, using my money to fund this out of my pocket with no help. And this is what you do? And I went in hard. I went in what I did probably helped them lose because that regime lost.
Right. But you still don't have your money back, so.
Still don't have my money back. But the reason why I didn't take the cut, because as long as that money is there, I could always fight for it. I haven't given up. You know, I'm going to talk, but Africa's a little different. I'm sure I could talk to the new leader and explain why I did this, and I'm almost certain that things could change. And the thing about the money, I didn't even care about getting the money back. I just wanted the interest. I just wanted to get paid every month so I could pay for the school.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just have to take your losses so you can get back the money. Because I remember I had a business relationship since the start of Vlad TV with Complex, right? All the YouTube money that I would get would go through Complex. They would get premium ads, so they would add to it, and then I would get, you know, my money plus another percentage of the premium ads. This has been going on for 15 years. And then at one point, Complex merged with BuzzFeed and Huffington Post, and they went public, and then the stock tanked. And they stopped paying me my money.
Wow.
This is my YouTube money. They just take a cut. So they owed me like 1.2 million.
Wow.
And they weren't paying me month after month. And then at the very end, we had to file a lawsuit, and they finally said, okay, we'll pay you the full amount minus 50,000. And I said, all right, I'll take it. And I took it. Now I'm a little salty about the 50,000, but at least I got almost the 1.2 million.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yes, I don't like losing 50,000. Who does? But at least I got almost all my money. I got whatever, 98% of my money.
Mine's is kidnapped right now.
Yeah.
My money's
so
kidnapped.
sometimes 10% may sound bad at the moment, but at least you get most of it back.
No, I mean, I didn't think it was gonna come down to this. I didn't think that they would, you know, and I feel so bad because sometimes it give my continent a bad name. Like this, you make it seem like every government up there is corrupt and bad. There's just a few that are, you know what I'm saying? You can't blame the whole continent. Everybody's not corrupt, but they made me look so stupid because, you know, when I was in Merlin office or JP Morgan's, whichever one I sent the money through, and they're like, Mike, you sure you want to send this to, and there's a third world country.
Your own financial advisor told you not to do it.
They told me not. They said, they said, you know, I don't want to advise that, but, you know, if that's what you want to do, it's your money.